So I wanted to begin to focus now on what actually happens to you in the immediate aftermath following the death of a loved one, and particularly we're focusing on sibling loss. So I guess the first piece is shock. And shock is very common for everyone following a death. Even, I'm sure you've known situations where, let's say, a family has got like 100-year-old granny who has been unwell for a long time, and then eventually, they're in a care home, and then they go into the hospital, and they just gradually fade away. And for days and weeks, the family are sitting around and waiting for the person. And then afterwards, you attend the wake, and you'll hear family members saying, we knew she was going to die, but it was such a shock when she did. The death shocks us, and even more so if it was a premature, unexpected, or particularly traumatic death. So there's a sense of unreality. This can't be real. You're just waiting to wake up. Am I dreaming it? And your house is filled with people who've come to support you and pay their respects, and you're going, when am I going to waken up from this? And you can also feel like you're drowning in overwhelming feelings. Like there are different moments in the immediate aftermath where it is just too much, and you feel like, this really is never going to get through this. It's just too much. But we're often carried through by very intensive support from our family and our community. The wake and the funeral, which of course during the pandemic has been extremely compromised and has been a source of pain, because that support has been very, very dislocated. The hugs, the house full of people, the people coming with mask cards, the people coming that you didn't expect to come, and you're just so moved that these people would be here, and the support, the solidarity that is shown to a family is extraordinary. And really what we do to a family at that time is we kind of lift them up on our shoulders, and we say, we're with you guys here. So that has been missing. And whilst during a bereavement during the pandemic, we have been with you, we've been standing shoulder to shoulder. It's only remotely, and we hope that you feel our support, but it's not tangible. So I think death has become very lonely for people surviving, and wakes and funerals, we do so much remembering. You hear all the stories and the lovely little connections, and you hear so much about your loved one. I think, my goodness, I had no idea about how important the impact of my sister or brother's life was. And the formal funeral is a very healing thing for people, because it helps us to say goodbye in quite a tangible way. And again, to have the community's supportive hand at our back. But that sense of being carried through is very strong and often very, very healing. And the person in the immediate aftermath is usually in an altered state of consciousness, like they're living between two worlds, not fully in one world, not fully in the other. And that can manifest in a deep exhaustion. So let's say you go back to work after a fortnight or a week, especially if you're an adult and this was an adult sibling or parent or whatever. You kind of think, I got myself together, I need to go back, and I've a lot of responsibilities at work, and I just, I can't not be there, so I have to be there. Or even within a few days, sometimes you only get a few days of compassionate leave, and then you're back to work. You'll find this extraordinary state of consciousness where you have deep exhaustion, and you're not quite in the world. It's like I'm in this bubble world. I haven't fully plugged into my own life, and it can be very hard to concentrate, very hard to get buckled down to the work that you need to be doing, and you have a lot of brain drain. And of course there can be a lot of anxiety comes with that, because your first days maybe back out into the world, into the shops or into the workplace, you're inevitably going to meet people who'll come over to you and say, gosh, I'm awfully sorry about your loss. And you are still red raw from the grief, so this could percolate up, and you think, oh my God, I'm going to cry here, and I'm supposed to be in this professional mode, or I'm standing in the middle of Duns here, and I feel like the floods of tears are coming. So moving out into the world it can be a little bit scary, a little bit anxiety provoking, and people, I guess, are frightened that, am I always going to feel like this? And the answer is no. It's a very common aftermath experience, and what I would say is, to take the time that you need to rest, because there has been so much shock. That's where the exhaustion comes from. It's emotional shock. There may not be a narrative shock that, I knew my sister was dying because she had cancer, and we knew she'd only weeks to live at this age. So I'm not shocked at her death, but the emotional shock is really severe. And I'm at a loss, and I live in this bubble, but I will come back out of it gently and with support. Also, in that immediate aftermath, you can feel like you are going mad. You really can feel like you're going crazy. You will never be normal again. And then there are moments where you may feel that you're numb. I think, I don't feel anything. I actually feel great. What's wrong with me? The numbness is a very common experience as well. And the numbness can kick in when things are too much. It's like our emotions just go offline. So I get to the point where especially maybe if I'm an impulsive person, I can't do this. I just cannot take all of this pain. So I will disconnect from it. Another very lovely and very disturbing thing is it is very common in those first few days and weeks and months to have extremely vivid dreams that, they don't feel like dreams, they feel so real, and you're with your sibling and you wake up and you're left with this really beautiful feeling of being so connected with them again. Oh my God, it just feels like she was really there. And then moments later you have to remember actually that, yeah, that was just a dream, and then the nightmare kicks in that actually she's gone. So they can be really disconcerting, and it can be common, very regular, to feel very, very close to a brother or sister who's passed away recently, like they're literally right there with you in the room, and you can feel very comforted by signs and symbols. People will talk about a feather or something that happened that you think, oh my goodness, that's her, or that's him. We feel this person extraordinarily close, and whether they are or not, I guess we don't know for sure, but so many people have faith that they really are there. It's such a comfort for people to know that my loved one has gone, but they're not too far away. So what is happening is your sensory experience is very, very strong. You're in extreme emotional shock, and there is a period of adjustment. So all sorts of things can happen. We'll look a little bit deeper later on some of the specifics that can happen around this time.